Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the first episode of American Literature TV on the Grace Christian Academy channel, and we'll see how this is going to work out for us. It's a new experience for me as well as for you. I'm kind of excited about trying something new, and I hope that this will work out. I would ask that you provide any kind of assistance you can by sending me an email giving me any hints that you think might make this easier for you to watch and understand. There are a lot of things to learn about it, doing a presentation online this way and by camera. One of the things I was told is that you have to really work hard to keep your eyes focused on the camera so that it looks like I'm looking at you. So there's a lot for us to learn. I have to confess it's a little bit unsettling to be looking at myself as I speak to you. One of my favorite poets, Robert Burns, wrote that it would be good to have the gift of seeing ourselves as others see us. I'm doing that right now, and I'm not real happy about what I'm looking at. But anyway, we will do Burns next year, perhaps, if we get to do all of this. But now it's time to talk about other things. So get out pencils and paper and take down some notes. You'll notice that I don't have a whiteboard here in my office, so you're going to have to take down these notes about deadlines for yourself. Remember that April 16th is the day we will try to share together some way our entries in the Bulwer Lytton Bad Fiction Contest. Be working on that. May the 11th is the final day to turn in your end-of-course essays, which you are still going to have to do. You're not getting out of them just because there's a worldwide pandemic. April the 5th, you are going to have to turn in a draft outline, and we will talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. Keep those deadlines in mind. And we will have others as we come along. Right now, for your papers, you should be doing your research. And in this particular project, a lot of your research is going back and reading the things we read before to try to pay attention to the things we read over the year. Through the lens of these quotations that I gave you in your essay prompt. I know not all of you were present in class the last day before spring break, so you didn't all get a hard copy of your essay prompt, but it is on iGrade, so go look at it and read it, and then be reading the things we looked at before. But before we get to talking about literature, Strunk and White are calling the elements of style. Get your books out. We're going to look at Rule 20. Rule 20 in Strunk and White. And Rule 20 is this: keep related words together. Word order goes a long way toward telling us what the speaker or the writer intend by the words they use. It matters how you use them. You can't string them together in just any fashion and expect to be understood. And Rule 20 is an acknowledgement of that, and reminds us to do it. Now, you've got some examples in your text, and You should have read all of this before you came on here. That is something that was posted as part of your assignment. But if you read some of these selections in the book, you will see why using the proper word order makes our sentences clearer. It makes what we say easier to understand, and it reduces ambiguity. Now here's an example. In your book, the left-hand column, you can call your mother in London and tell her all about George's taking you out to dinner for just 60 cents. Now, what was it that was just 60 cents? Was it the call to your mother? Was it dinner with George? You don't know. So the other is on the right-hand side of the page. For just 60 cents, you can call your mother in London and tell her all about George's taking you out to dinner. Now you realize that the phone call was 60 cents and dinner was some other amount of money. Hopefully George likes you more than that and spent more money than that on you. Now, we won't get into detail about this next example, except to say that the one on the left-hand side of the column here has these poor guys frozen in a stainless steel tank, which makes you feel sorry for them. We won't say what the proper word order is, but you can see why it's important to keep related words together. Then as you go on reading through the text, you will see other ways that it becomes important. Part of this is keeping the subject of the verb and the principal verb of the sentence together. That helps keep things clearer. If you split them up with some kind of parenthetical clause, then it becomes confusing and unclear. So read through that. I posted in your assignments an exercise. Here it is. It's on your assignments. I want you to work through that and take some time to go through that and rework these sentences in a way that keep the related words together. Now, an example, the very first one of these, the sentence is, she attends a school in the city which is private. What's private? The school? The city? I've never heard of a private city, but perhaps there is one somewhere. Think of a better way to phrase that. There are 10 of these sentences. What I'd like you to do is just fill them out and scan them, email them to me. You have my email, so you know where to send it. And Thursday, perhaps we'll talk about it a little bit more. So that's Rule 20, keep related words together. And remember that in your writing, everything you do, this is not, well, this week we're going to omit needless words, and next week we're going to keep related words together. That isn't how it works. What you need to be following all these rules all the time. Now, I want to talk about your essays for a little bit. As I told you right now, what I want you to be doing is your research, reading the things that you've read before through the lens of these passages from Emerson and from the prophet Jeremiah, so that you will be prepared to work on these essays. And you should be taking notes, just like we did before. I still don't know of a better way to take notes than with the note cards. You could start out, say, since we started out with the House of the Seven Gables, you could have one of the big little bibliography cards be your House of the Seven Gables card, and then use the big note cards to copy down passages that you think relate to your essay prompt, and then you'll have them and you'll be able to use them. It will help you to decide what you're going to say about Judge Pynchon if you keep your notes together. So I strongly recommend that you be doing that right now. And probably in a week or so, I'm going to like to see how y'all are doing with that. As I told you, April the 5th, I'm going to want a draft of your outline. And we're going to talk about that. This outline should be extremely easy for y'all to put together because it's basically right here in your essay prompt. I have too many papers here. I'm having a hard time keeping them together. But your essay prompt pretty much tells you what your outline ought to be. But I'm not going to require you to just figure out your essay prompt and figure out your outline from there. I have uploaded for you a sort of a preliminary example of what your outline might look like. You don't have to follow this outline. If you can find a better structure, you are free to use it, and I'll be interested to see what you do, because I like to see people use and try out new ideas. But here is the outline that suggests itself to me, and you won't go far wrong trying to use this. Now I'm going to hold this up. Here's an interesting thing about being on camera. It's like a mirror. So I'm kind of having to hold this up where you can read it and it's not backwards, which I did by having it bleed through this white paper. So you'll be able to, oops, what happened?